have things been since the last time that we met?
Things are pretty well.
Good, good. Uh, were you able to explore any support groups for the gambling?
Yeah, so I went to uh, a couple groups. I don't know if that's for me, though. Seems like, just a bunch of guys sitting around talking about gambling, and I just want to get away from gambling.
Right, right. I can totally understand that. Um, did you meet anybody while you were there?
Yeah, I met Jim, a guy by the name of Jim, and his buddy Steve. Met those two guys, but all they wanted me to go to the casino with them.
Really?
Yeah, so
That's interesting.
that's another thing that I didn't find too appealing about that. I'm trying to get away from.
Right, right. Any big stressors for you this week?
Well, the holidays are coming up, and that's always a stressful time.
Yeah, unless you're a kid, right? Most kids, at
Well,
least.
yeah, but that's why it's stressful is because we're trying to provide for our children around that time, and money can be quite tight living paycheck to paycheck.
Right. So, do you feel like you're going to be able to meet your obligations for the holidays this year financially?
Oh, we always just put it on credit cards and then end up paying it back. It's pretty much how it goes every year to start out the year. We start out the year in debt. Happy New Year.
Is everything so? What challenges did you face this week?
This week I've just been having a really hard time getting up and getting out of bed.
Really? That's
Yeah,
not normal for you, is it?
no, it's something new. Um, but
Have
I've
you?
been having a harder time falling asleep too. So, I think it's just my body not getting the rest that it's used to getting.
What goes on in your mind when you can't sleep?
Um, it's not usually anything that's going on in my mind. It's just once I get started doing something, I don't, if I start watching a movie, I can't fall asleep in the middle of it anymore. I always am too focused in on the movie. If there's music playing, then my mind starts to get, interested in the music, and I have a real hard time, getting back to sleep. So,
Well, there's something that I'd love to teach you if you're open to it. It's a little silly, but we can try it.
you're not gonna hypnotize me or nothing, are you?
No. So it's just a deep breathing technique. So when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're having trouble sleeping or you just have an overwhelming emotion that you're having trouble working through, something that you can do that helps ground you is you put your finger over your nose and breathe.
Put my finger over my nose.
Put your finger over one of your nostrils. Go
Oh.
ahead and breathe.
Like push down.
Push down and breathe. And then put your finger over the other nostril. Push down and breathe. Which side can you breathe better out of?
My left side.
Okay, so breathe out of that side and take 10 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Go ahead, try it. In through your nose. You kind of just keep going, huh?
No, that was 10.
How did that feel?
Real strange.
Do you feel more calm than before you started?
I feel like my left nostril is. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your breathing is more regular?
I feel like my breathing is slowed down.
Yeah, for sure. It slows down your heart rate, gets some oxygen to your brain. So that's an example of some mindfulness practice. So there's like a lot of mindfulness in like pop culture these days with like yoga and meditation, but it is a really powerful tool that we can use to overcome overwhelming emotion, which is unavoidable, right? In life, there are overwhelming emotions that are just unavoidable, and we have to learn how to live in them.
Mm-hmm.
And something that we can do is practice mindfulness. So that's just one example of how you can ground yourself quickly and easily. But there's a multitude of practices that you could start using that could assist you in becoming a little more grounded, make it easier for you to sleep, not so much veer off when you're trying to concentrate, things like that. And a lot of people think that meditation takes a long time, but that's not true. Realistically, you could just do something as simple as breathe in peace and out love, and it can be that one breath that you're consciously taking the time to ground yourself. Have you ever been exposed to anything like that before?
No, not breathing wise. I did do acupuncture a couple times. That was really nice.
Yeah, I haven't done that personally, but I've heard some really great things about that, especially for physical health stuff. It helps with.
Mm-hmm. They put a bunch of pins in your ear.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that you have been exposed to some holistic practices, and I think that our culture relies heavily on like traditional medicine when there are so many things that we can do with our body and our minds that can help us be healthier. You know, another thing, how active are you regularly?
Not as active as I used to be.
Let's talk about that. What did your activity level used to look like?
I used to work out 4 to 5 times a week. Every week. Didn't really do anything but weight train, some low intensity cardio stuff, and yeah. And then I just quit going a couple years back.
What changed? Why did you stop going?
Time.
Really?
It's hard to find time.
Was there some sort of entity that entered your life that took your time, that made it more difficult for you to prioritize going to the gym?
Well, yeah, I mean, my daughter got a little bit older. She got a little bit more active after school. My job changed. There's a bunch of things that changed before I stopped going to the gym.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I think it would be really powerful if, when you get the cravings to go to the casino, that you instead went to the gym. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's just hard because, you know, the casinos were in the middle of the night and I don't really know if there's a 24-hour gym anywhere.
Well, that's something that we can explore together if you'd like.
Okay. I would like to get back into the gym. It felt good, eased my mind about some things.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, did you feel differently when you were working out? Like, emotionally?
Yeah, I think, you know, it helped relieve a lot of unneeded stress and tension just from, you know, working with customers all day long.
Yeah.
So,
How would your life look if you were to prioritize fitness again and stop going to the casino? what would be different? Like, how would you feel internally? Would there be aspects of your life that changed physically?
I mean, yeah, I would probably start feeling better. I'd be stronger. My mental health would probably maybe get a little bit clearer. There could be some positive benefits. It's just really hard to make time when I feel like, there's a lot of responsibilities that I'm in charge of, with myself and my children and my significant other. It's hard to find time to, and then when that, even when I do have the time or should be going to the gym, I lack the motivation to get up and go.
What motivated you in the past?
Just wanting to feel better, wanting to look better.
Did you have a community of people who were also into physical fitness, or was it something that you did by yourself? What did that look like? Was it social for you?
I mean, I definitely knew more people that worked out than didn't work out. So it was easy to find people to go work out with, and, you know, healthy people attract healthy people. So,
That's true. That is true. It seems to be um, healthy environments attract healthy people as well, I
hmm
think. You know? And the gym is definitely a healthy environment, that's for sure, for most people, right?
yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way that you could engage in physical fitness again while also spending time with your daughter. Like some sort of like daily or a couple of times a week walk or some bike riding or something like that where you could get physical but also not feel like you are not showing up for your family.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good idea.
Is there any
Definitely could do bike rides and go for walks.
Yeah.
That could definitely happen.
So I'm wondering if there is an association between. So how's it looked? Have you been able to avoid going to this casino?
I've only went a few times since the last time that we saw each other 3 weeks ago.
Do you feel like there might be a correlation between your depression and not going to the casino?
Um,
Do you feel you're depressed, first of all? I mean, not getting out of bed a couple days doesn't necessarily mean that you're depressed.
yeah, I don't think it's reached to that point just yet. Um, I feel like maybe I do have a little bit of low self-esteem because I'm not going to the gym, and then I can't get motivated to go to the gym, and then it's just like a never-ending cycle. And so maybe there is a little bit of depression going on there.
Right. Well, I can tell you that a good way to begin to expand your self esteem is to engage in esteemable acts. So I would definitely do some soul searching as to where you can be of maximum service to people and maybe do some community outreach or like volunteer work. That might be something that would be positive for you.
Volunteer work? What do you mean?
I mean, that would be up to you, but I know that it can be really useful when people are having a dip in self esteem to help other people and like get out of yourself. Start to think about, you know, other things. Makes you feel good to help other people, and that's not why you do it, but it's definitely a positive side effect. When's the last time you did something for someone that made you feel good about yourself?
That probably would have been when I helped my father-in-law put up his privacy fence in his backyard.
That was really nice of you to help him do that. I bet he was really appreciative of you.
tried to give me money, but I told him I wouldn't take it.
Well, that was nice of him, and that was nice of you.
Eh, couldn't let my father-in-law give me any kinds of money for just helping him out, you know?
Yeah, I love that. Uh, so could, if your life looked exactly how you wanted it to look, what would it look like?
Um, I'd say be rich. I'd work for it though. I don't need to hand it to me. And I would be able to take care of all my family with all their needs they need financially so they could live their lives the way they want to. And I would probably travel.
What actions could you take to move your life closer to where you would like it to be?
Start playing the lottery.
Hmm. I don't know if that's the best route for us to take at this point. Do you think so?
No, you're probably right. It's a bit like gambling, huh?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that your energy level is a little bit lower than usual. You're not as talkative as you normally are.
Well, it's coming back to the point, where I'm not sleeping as good as I was, and you know, being groggy in the morning, and then by the time mid afternoon rolls around, I'm pretty groggy again.
Can you tell me
Could that be something to do with my age?
I mean, definitely as we get older, excuse me, our energy levels certainly do change. And it's actually also true that the older you get, the less sleep that you require. So it could be that as well. But I also think that you are in the midst of some pretty heavy soul searching right now. So I wonder if your reluctancy or your lack of ability to sleep is related to the changes that we've been making.
Hmm. I never thought of that.
Yeah. Um, because sometimes as we start to grow towards healthier behaviors, it can become difficult for us initially. Healing can be painful in the beginning. And that's especially true when we take out an additive of our life that increases our dopamine levels, like something like gambling.
Hmm.
Because there's a physiological aspect that you're missing at this point, too. And that's why I brought up working out, because they feed into similar places in your reward system in your brain. So
Hmm.
it could actually like produce a similar feeling within you.
Hmm.
Have you ever thought
Okay.
about that? Like how you do you feel like how you felt when you like left the gym ever compared to how you feel when you win at the casino?
I mean, it's not. Maybe, but my body feels a lot more worn out when I leave the gym than when I leave the casino. So it's hard to focus really on what my mind is. It could be, I guess, a similar feeling. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
Well, try not to think about it too much when you're falling asleep.
Yeah. See, that's part of the problem.
Something else that might help you to sleep is to do a little bit of journaling before you go to sleep. So
Gerbling?
journaling.
Oh, journaling.
Sorry, I have a thick New York accent sometimes. But journaling, yeah. So just write down your thoughts on paper before you lay down, so that you have less floating around up there in a way, right?
I could try it.
I've given you a lot of suggestions. Do you feel
Should I just write down my feeling, like how I feel every single night? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, your feelings. How are you feeling? Even if it's just a few words of how you're feeling, or even just identifying the emotion. How are you at identifying your emotions? Are you typically able to identify what you're feeling?
Yeah.
Good, good. That's really great. So it seems like we are moving our way towards overcoming your gambling issue. So I really want to give you, I want to give you a shout out and say how excited I am that you have started to take some steps to conquer that.
Yeah. And like I said, the holidays are coming up, so I think it's, I'm doing it consciously that, I don't want to gamble anymore. Not just that, you know, Christmas is around the corner and it's going to be a lot of money. So I'm I'm really trying to, you know, focus on the right reasons why I'm not gambling.
Right. Yeah, and it's really good to have those like positive motivators that keep us like those reminders of why we've made a commitment to change.
Hmm.
How do you think your relationships are going to change as a result of your commitments to stop gambling?
Well, I mean, I won't have to omit stuff from my significant other any longer. I won't have to make excuses where the money's going, you know?
Yeah, it must have been tiring for you.
It is kind of tiring.
Yeah.
Then you gotta remember everything you say so you don't trip yourself up. It's just a long, unneeded, you know,
The last time we spoke about your
effort.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought
Long,
you were saying.
unneeded effort.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
The last time we spoke about your gambling, there was some guilt and shame that was associated with it. Do you feel like those feelings are starting to become a little bit more distant as you continue to make the effort to not gamble?
Well, no, I don't think they're getting any further distant because it's still so close. I still feel guilty for the stuff that I did. Even though, I know that I'm trying to change it and not do more of the same stuff, I still, it's still pretty close.
Right.
So it's still pretty fresh.
Can you tell me about a time where you forgave somebody that really harmed you?
No, I can't really
Okay. Or do you
think of
typically
anything.
have a hard time forgiving others?
No.
Okay. So what does your thought process look like when you're forgiving somebody? Like what emotions do you go through emotionally?
Well, at first I'm probably mad.
Right.
Otherwise, and then I probably, you know, just wondering why they would do something like that.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Um, so confused. Um, yeah, no, I mean that's about it.
I would love it if you would start to practice some forgiveness of self.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's a slow process sometimes with forgiveness, and sometimes you have to do it over and over again.
Mhm.
But I think that if you made a commitment to forgive yourself, it would actually make it easier for you to continue to not gamble. I think that the guilt and shame emotions um, feed into the negative behavior for sure.
So you think my negative thinking's causing negative behavior?
Do you think that?
I mean, I feel like that's the comparison you were trying to make.
I could see why you. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's talk about the plan for next week to continue to avoid the casino. What did you do last week that you're going to do again this week, and what is something maybe that you did that you're not going to do again, or that you're going to change and try differently?
Well, I'm not gonna work over to where I work at midnight and get off at midnight. I'm gonna get off at 8 p.m. when everybody's still awake, and I don't have to. Uh, I don't have to, or I have to show up when I get off work. I can't go missing for 2 hours like I can when I get off at midnight. Um, and I'm gonna unsubscribe to all those emails that I get from the casino trying to give me free money and free rooms and all this other free stuff. And be honest with my significant other.
Are you going to be honest about what has occurred already? Do you think that will help you overcome some of the guilt, like telling the truth about what has happened
I don't think I'm ready for all that just yet.
That's
I want to.
okay.
I want to rather show her that I'm changed man.
That makes sense for sure. Is there anybody in your life besides me that you are really honest with this about this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anybody that you really trust that you feel like you could be honest? Because it could be really positive to have an accountability partner in your life.
Mm, I don't really know unless it's a family member.
Okay. That's okay.
Maybe my sister.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not influencing you to do anything, but sometimes it helps to have community support, whether that be your family or your friends or anything like that. And I know that um, there is sometimes like negative self-talk associated with these types of things, but I think we need to recognize that we're making the sincere effort to change, um, and that's commendable. Even making the decision to change is a big deal, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't want to cause anybody any harm. And I want to stop spending all of my excess money trying to make more money. Yeah, sure, it's nice, you know, when I hit a big win, but that's very few and far between.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that you'll find that once you separate yourself um, from that behavior, that there are other things in your life that give you a similar satisfaction. And it's often hard to pinpoint those things when we're engaging in the negative behavior, but as we move further away from it, we start to feel that same feeling again, and it's associated with something positive and healthy. So that's what I hope for you. I hope for us, rather. So that it sounds like you have a good plan for next week. I definitely have been bringing up scenarios where you can fill your time,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's really important that you have a a safety plan in place
Mm-hmm.
for when those feelings come up about going to the casino. So I think the plan that you have so far is really good, but I think trusting somebody and bringing them in to into this scenario, and letting them know where you're at and what you're trying to do, and allowing them to support you through that. Um, I think it has the potential to bring you and your sister closer together as a positive side effect as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So it seems like we are making some effort to overcome a problem that has made your life really difficult. So how does that make you feel? Are you feeling proud of yourself? Are you feeling like
I'm feeling like we're making steps in the right direction.
you are? Okay, that's really good. That's what I love to hear. Is there any feedback that you have for me that you feel, anything that I can do for you to support you better at this point?
No, I think for now I'm okay.
Okay. So I think at this point, if it's okay with you and it's completely up to you, we can potentially move to bi-weekly sessions. Or if you want to continue with the weekly sessions, we can do that as well.
Weekly's fine.
Weekly's good? Okay. So I do definitely challenge you to start to explore your community for a a trusted friend or somebody who you can be really honest about this aspect of your life with.
Okay.
And then I definitely also encourage you to explore your interests and discover something that can help fill the time that you had previously been spending at the casino. So something that makes you feel good, that is positive and healthy.
Okay.
And you don't have to find it right away. You can try tons of things, you know?
Okay.
So we'll continue how with the weekly session.